Okay. I don't know. Oh, I gotta get some service. Let's get some connection. Come on, I pay y'all bill. Y'all need to come on here. Okay, God. Okay. Okay. Listen. This is such a powerful thing because God is speaking. He spoke to me all last night. I got up at 1 o'clock in the morning. I did a video. I did a live or whatever. And then today I'm getting my cars fixed. I have 2 trucks, right? So I'm getting both of them fixed, working on, because every time you get a little piece of money in your hand, your car getting the hiccups and stuff, like something wrong with it because it stank, whatever. Okay, let me take care of my cars because they got to take care of me, right? So I'm talking to the mechanic. And he's like talking to me. He's like, what do you want to do? This, and that. I told him, I was like, in my future, like, I want to be like a full-time minister. I want to be a full-time pastor. Like, I want to be like all of this stuff. And he was like, well, what's stopping you? And I was like, I'm just waiting on God to this, and that. He was like, you waiting on God or is he waiting on you? I was like, whew. Okay. All right. And I was like, well, I'm very obedient and I hear God all the time very clearly. But I'm still confused when it comes into this because, me being a mother of 4 and a single mother of 4, like, I can't afford to just not be able to, like, take care of my babies, And I climbed the corporate ladder, like, come on, hi. And then he was like, if you believe God like you say you do, what's stopping you? What is my ministry called? Hold on, did God call you into ministry? Yeah, he did. Listen, so he just went to talking, right? And I was like, Lord, you ain't playing with me today. Because my friend Lexi, like, she's been like, God's calling you to be a full-time minister. God's calling you to the ministry. God, and I'm like, I understand that. But I also have to be able to provide for my family because I have my babies. Like, I got 4 babies. Like, if you asked me years ago, I was a single woman, let's do this. Like, I quit jobs like that. Listen, it was nothing. And then he was like, well, don't you believe that God is going to sustain you? I was like, yeah, you're right. God is going to do all of that. Da, 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 da. And he was like, then what's stopping you? I said, okay, all right, okay. And then he like went to telling me about like how he was working and then how, he didn't want to work for anybody else. And he was like, he took 3 days off and he just put his faith in God and then he put his faith in God, and then God sustained him, and he had more money, in those 3 days than he did at his regular job. And he's like, God, I put my trust in you. This is what I'm going to do. And he was like, you have a gift. Do you not believe that your gifts are going to make room for you? And I was like, of course. And he says, well, why are you stopping God from taking you into your room? He was like, your gifts has already been put in you. So your gifts have room for you. Now you just got to act on faith and say, what do you want to do? It's in your hands. He was like, the ball of your life is in your hands. You have complete control of your life. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Listen, I'm talking about God went to talking to me, and he was like, do you trust me? Do you trust me? Do you not think that I won't provide for you? You know that my children will never be begging or borrowing. You will never see my kids out here wanting for anything. And I was like, yeah, you right. And he was like, yeah, the ball is literally in your court. What would you do with it? Like, God has given you the gifts. He's giving you the platform. He's giving you the people that need to eat every single day. And you're feeding God's sheep every single day. And he was like, now it's time for you to start walking into what you believe. It's time for you to start walking on that faith. And he says, now you need to be consistent in every single thing you do. Not obedient because you're that, but you have to have a consistency with your gifts so your gifts can keep growing and you can start perfecting what God has already put inside of you. And I was like, whew, my God. I said, but to me, I feel like I'm doing that. And he says, not like you should. You need to be consistent every single day. Speak into your gifts. Speak into your life. Speak into it every single day. And I was like, okay. And he says, like it or not, when you have a calling on your life, you're going to get pulled to it. And I know you got 4 kids. I know you're like, I don't know what to do. I know. And he was like, do you not believe that God will provide for you? Do you not think that God called you out here for no reason? Like, Lynn, you are powerful. You carry God in you. You glow. When people see you, they see God. Do you not believe that? Do you not know who you are? And he was like, word of mouth is going to get you to where you need to go. He was like, right now you seem like you're not going too much. He was like, it seems like you're stagnant. He's like, but the way I got my business is through sheer word of mouth. I don't advertise. My gifts make room for me. My gifts get called to me. He was like, you know for a fact that your voice carries weight. And he says the word of mouth is about to be spoken over your life. And the people are going to come get you. The word of mouth about Lendaria Watts is going to get out there. This anointed pastor, this called pastor, this chosen prophet is about to get spoken out there. And the word of mouth is going to carry you into your next destination. Do you not believe that? Whoa. God ain't playing. God ain't playing. He was like, it's in your voice, but you know that. Yeah, I know. It just blew me. It felt like I was having a one-on-one with one of God's anointed, like out there just like, girl, get up. Like, girl, you sleeping on yourself. You giving everybody else, like, give yourself, like, breathe into your life. Like, everybody taking from your well, but who gonna give you, who gonna feed into you? Like, look at who God called you to be. When are we gonna start investing in ourselves, right? And I was like, well, I feel like I invest in myself every day. Like, I'm in corporate America. He was like, you're not happy. I was like, yeah, nah, not at all. And he was like, what do you desire to do? Yeah, rise up. Yes. He was like, where does your heart lead you? And I say, my heart is for the people. My heart is healing people. My heart is getting down in addiction alley with you and pulling you up. Getting down in depression alley with you and pulling you up. I want to kick in the door and stop you from putting that needle in your arm. I want to pull you out of that bed and lay with you on that floor and tell you God told me to lay here with you until you feel comfortable. I want to get down there in the dirt with you. I want to do that with you. I'm not afraid, God. Put me in the building. I want people to come. I don't need a closed building. Put me in a stadium so I can come off that thing, take my shoes off and come down in the crowd and get out there with y'all. Like, I don't want to be up on a pedestal. I don't want the big buildings. I want to be like with y'all. Like, I want to be one with the people, you know? And he was like, listen to how you talking. That's your passion. And he was like, that's your gift, that's your passion, that's your calling. Do you not think that God is going to provide that for you? Whew. Listen, he was like, God didn't put that in you for nothing. God didn't put that in you for nothing. Now you got to start walking in it. And I was like, yeah. When I talk about it, like, I just feel the fire in my veins because I know how it feels to not have somebody to go to. I know how it feels to be locked in a room with depression and not have anybody breathe life into you. I know how it feels to be hopeless in this hopeful world, you know, and I know what people need. Come on. God, put me out. I don't need to be in a closed building. I don't need a mega church. I don't need that. I need a big arena to where I can come off of that stage and get down in the thick of it with people. I need to touch people. I need people to touch me to get healed. Listen, somebody touched I was doing a prayer for somebody out in the field, and I had this big event and people were out there and I were praying for everybody, and I wasn't really knowing who I was at that time, right? And somebody came up and I was praying for them and I had their hands, but they put their head against mine for one quick second, and I stepped back and I felt like the power leave from my body really quick. And God says, I got healing in you. You got healing hands and you have a healing body. Whenever somebody would touch you, they would get healed, but they would drain from you. So you got to take a second and let me pour back into you. And he was like, I got to put you somewhere where you can touch people. Okay, God, listen, God is calling us. God is calling us to be in the gifts are already there. The gifts are already there. It's time for us to walk into what God has called us. It's time for us to go get what God has called for us. Listen. And I was talking to God and I said, well, God, I'm being consistent to me. Like, I'm going live. I'm doing your word. I'm saying what you tell me to say. I'm reading the Bible. I'm waking up with you. I'm worshiping. Whenever somebody wants me to come on their podcast or whenever somebody wants me to jump on their live, I do. Even when people, don't really be consistent with me. Like, some people just don't respond back to me after they sought me out and asked me to come on their podcast or, asked me to come to an event. They block me. You know what I'm saying? Like, and he was like, well, you don't understand, that was a jealous spirit that I had to block you from. And I said, I don't even ask for payment. I don't ask you guys for money. I don't ask you guys for tithes. I don't ask the people that put me on their podcast for money. Everything I do is free of charge. Like even the oils and stuff I sent out, I never ask for anything for anybody because I know who my Father is. And I know that He would provide for all of my needs. Every live I do, I don't put a Cash App in here. I don't put whatever on there because God will provide. God told me this: the ones that can, and the ones that can't. And the ones that can will cover the ones that can't. So that's what He was telling me. And He was like, they're going to come and they're going to bless you because the ones that can will. And the ones that can't won't. But the ones that can will cover all of it. And I was like, okay, God, I'm not worried about it. And He was like, as freely as you give, as freely as you receive. And He's like, you are a giver by nature. You've been a giver since you were a child. You're going to give and give and give. And I'm going to fill you back up. I know this. I trust God for everything. There's no bill that I will ever cry about because I know who my God is. He's not going to let me go into poverty. He's not going to let me go into lack. That's one thing that God isn't going to do. I understand that. I know how to walk on faith. But this one is hard because it's not just me, it's my babies. So you need me to leave a job that I make very good money. It took me 15 years to get here, and you want me to walk out. You want me to throw in the keys. My God, I'm afraid. I can't say that I'm not. I'm afraid. So God, if this is what you want me to do, let's get it. Yeah, I have no problem telling God, I am afraid. What am I going to do? I hear my gifts is going to make room for me. I have no bookings. Everything that I do is free. Everything that I do is free. I don't charge people. I don't charge people. It is what it is. God will provide everything. God will provide. Listen, scary faith is going to get me to God's faith because I'm scared, but God, if you tell me to, I will walk out right now. I will walk out because that's what you tell me to do. And I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm okay. Listen, I'm okay. I got to go back out there because my mechanic is texting me about my car. But I had to come on here and I had to drop this story because some people might need it just like I might need it. But your gifts are going to make room for you. And I'm not afraid anymore, God, because I got your faith. And if you tell me to, I will go. Wherever you tell me to go, God, I will go. I will do whatever you tell me to do, God. Amen. I got to go, you guys, because I got to text my mechanic back because he's working on my car. But I love you guys, and I'll try to get on later if I can. I love you guys.